gotten rid of that broken hair, Dr. Suzuki made up a word. He called it tonalization. There is a real word called vocalization, and that's something that singers do to practice making beautiful sound, beautiful tone. So Suzuki adopted that same idea and just changed the word a little bit. The first tonalization I'm going to teach you is the touch and go. Now, when a pilot is practicing to learn how to take off and land, he just takes off, comes around, lands, takes off, comes around, lands, until he's practiced it a lot of times. Now, you're going to start from the air, and you're going to come touch down, go to the end of the runway and lift off. And do the A again. Let me see if I can get this a better angle. Okay, come down on the E, and off, and come back in. Look at my bow arm. Notice how it's coming up. To carry the bow, it's like I'm dangling the bow from my fingers. But it doesn't stay up there. It comes back down when the bow goes down. And then the last note. That's touch and go. Now, the next tonalization is very much like the A string hill you did when you were a pre-twinkler, except it's only one bow per note, and it's going to use finger number 4. So, here we go. A, B, C sharp, D, E, play 'em again. Fix the 3, float. Fix the 2, fix the 1. I'm going to try it from this side. If I can figure out where to stand. And see if how this helps you see. A, B, fix, float for the C sharp, fix the D, float the C sharp, and the 4th finger, notice he's got a little bump there. Can you hear the E string ring? That means I'm perfect. It also means I'm not touching it anywhere. Fix, 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 fix. Now, when I was doing this, where do I stand? Okay, my hand stays the same. Look how it's nicely shaped. And here comes number 2. Notice I'm kind of bringing my hand forward and I'm curling it around more. That's to help the pinky. Then open up. Now I'm going to do the 3rd one, and that's called the A major scale. The definition of the scale officially is a stepwise progression of notes. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it's a long ladder. It goes over 2 strings. It's called an A scale because it's going to start on A, and the top note is also A, and it's called a major scale because there's a particular pattern of whole steps, which means there's space between your fingers, and half steps, which means they're next to each other. A major scale pattern is always whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And that goes for all scales. So once you get that pattern in your ear, I can put your hand out anywhere on the violin and you can do a scale. You don't have to know what note you're on even. Okay, A major scale. Now, when you're doing a scale and you go up to the next string, you use an open string. Coming down, you use a 4. Here we go. Fix, float, fix, float, drop, float. Fix, fix, float, fix, float. Now I'm going to play that note again. Fix the 2, float. Fix the 1, float. Fix the 4, float. Fix the 3. Fix the 2. Fix the 1 and float. Why do you suppose you use open strings going up and 4s coming down? There's a reason. Remember how I showed you kind of have to curl your hand around to get that 4 in there? Well, if you're going up and I'm all curled around, I have to open up immediately for that note. But if I'm coming down and I curl around, I'm in place for the A string. That's a basic principle. You know, in violin playing, there are a lot of ways to make the same note. Sometimes it's an open string or a 4th finger, and sometimes it's, moving your hand around. But there's also a rule on how to have your hand in the best shape possible. Going up, you don't want to use the 4 because it curls you around unnecessarily. Coming down, using that 4 sets you up very nicely. So that's why you do it.